Hello there, I'm Imef and I'm back with some more computer craft, and today I'll be doing a tutorial on basic algorithmics. So what does that mean? That means basically I'll be teaching you some basic syntax rules in programming, and you have to bear in mind that all I'm going to teach in Lua has necessarily an equivalent in other languages, or most languages I suppose. So let's get started right away. I believe I have a little file called test right here, which is totally empty, right? So with this one I'll teach you the very basics of algorithmics. So let's start right away. So the way I was taught in algorithmics, I had a course last year, and I have another one this year which is a bit more advanced, but some of the knowledge cannot apply here, so that's a bit of a shame. But yeah, the basics in algorithmics is that the computer can do three things. So first one is it's actually display a message on the screen. Second, what is it? Dang it. Second is to receive a message from the user, and third one is to do all sorts of calculus. And using those three operations, you can do pretty much anything. But of course that's not quite true. Well, yes, it is true. And then if you realize that all the statements I will teach you are kind of comparisons which are done using calculus and stuff like that. So let's get started. And so that you probably know if you have already done my computer craft tutorials. There are two ways to display messages on the screen. First one is write. Can't write. Right, like that. And then you type whatever message you want, like how about message? And that should do it. And the other one is print. And god dang it. I always type printf because that comes from the C language, and I'm having a course this year on the language, and it kind of comes as a reflex to type printf, so I'm a bit sorry for it if I'm rusty about that. But yeah, the difference between print and write is that print, after it displays a message, it goes to the next line, whereas write stays on the same line. So let's do an example message to write, and there we go. So basically what will happen is that it will first display message, and then it will, on the same line, display two writes and colon and all. And what I'm going to do there is, in a variable I'm going to declare. So to declare a variable, it's better to type local first, just to indicate that the variable is local to this code. And then you put the name of the variable. So let's just call it var. I call a lot of variables like that. It's just an easy that's just a bad habit of mine. And then there are two things you can do. First one is, go to the next line, type var equal and whatever you want. And var can take absolutely any value. So it could be a number like 5. It could be a string, so it contains a message like whatever message I typed, and it can also be a list of values, so that is called a table. And basically a table you use I don't know what the symbols are named, and for each part of the list you just put a comma. Yeah, never had in mind. I'm going to use a function called read, and this is to receive the data from the user. And finally we're just going to print var, just like that. And this is our first message, which displays two messages, receives one from the user, and then prints what he said. That's our first algorithm. It's very basic. So we save a file, exit, and execute test. So as you see, message to write is all on one line, because if you do write message, it will stay on the same line, and to write goes on the next line, as I explained. And let's do a basic hello world. and as you see, I type hello world, and using print var, I actually displayed the verb, well, what I actually typed. Now then, just one tip I'm going to show you guys. It's not very useful. It's just rm and then test. So if you type rm, then the name of the file you want to erase, it will erase it, and that I'll do a lot, so that I can erase the content of test, so that the file is actually empty, if you see what I mean. So let's edit test again, and you'll see the file is empty. So what I showed you was basically printing messages, receiving messages, and using variables. So let's see, now I'm going to show you two different things. First one is all the calculus you can do on variables, and the second is if statements. So if statement is just it's also known as a conditional statement, so I'll mention that when I reach it. So let's declare, I don't know, two variables, local a, and how about, and let's give a value of 2, and local b, which have a value of, how about 3, and how should we do it? Okay, let's declare the last variable local c, and what we're going to do is, how should we do it? Yeah, we're going to print, dang, I always do a mistake, several operations like a times, or a plus b. Let's start. So a plus b is the basic addition that works. Let's do b minus a. I don't know why, I don't want negative numbers, it's just a bit annoying. I will be annoyed though when I do b divided by a, but that's just collateral damage, I suppose. Print multiplication, yes. A times b, print a divided by, no, b divided by a. And yeah, just for vocab, the addition and the multiplication are operators that cannot, well, which can commute. So that means that a plus b is equal to b plus a, whereas division, subtraction, and modulo do not commute because, well, I don't know, a minus b is not equal to b minus a. Just for vocab, I just want to tell you guys. And finally, it's b modulo a. So modulo is basically to get the remainder of a division, just for the info. And actually, I just realized declaring c is absolutely useless. Or maybe not. Might as well. In c, I will store a new value, which will be a times b plus a. So just as a reminder, the multiplication is or has priority over the addition. So that means it will first do a times b, so the result will be 6, plus a, the c will take the value of 8. So that's just some very basic math. Some very basic math stuff. Yeah. And now then, after that I shall introduce you guys to the if statement. So you start typing if, then after if you type a condition, so that there are several conditions possible. So for example, if a is equal to b, so to verify if it's equal you have to actually put 2 times the symbol equal. If you want it to be different, it's like the wavy little symbol right here, with an equal. If it's higher, you just do like that, higher or equal, lower or equal. There are a whole bunch of operators, so let's just do a equal to how about, no, let's do c has the value of 8, might as well. going to type then, that's necessary. Well, that's one very common mistake I do in Lua, is that I forget to type then. And you could do end. I do not do that personally. So what I just did here is actually I indented, so it's just to make the code a tiny bit cleaner. It's just to know where structures are, like if, else, and all. So yeah, if the value is 1, let's print a message. Yes. The one thing you can do is, using a statement which is else, like that, you can do what happens if c is not equal to 8, so if the condition is not, or does not apply. So let's say no. There we go. So there we can actually test our little program. There we go. So as you can see, a plus b, so 2 plus 3 equal 5, 3 minus 2 equal 1, 2 times 3 is equal 2 times 3 2 times 3 is equal 6, 3 divided by 2 is 1.5, and the remainder of the division is 1, yes. Let's modify, how about b, or a, no, let's modify a to 4, as I said to 4, yes. Save and exit. Let's try test again. And this time you see in the condition right at the end, it says no, right here. Actually, I should be careful because I forgot I actually reactivated the pointer on fraps, so I'll have to be careful. And you can see all the operations have changed because the results are different. So that is that. Now I think that will be the last part I'll show you. It's loops. So then, rm test and edit test. There we have it. So how should we do it? So there are two kinds of loops. The first one is called the for loop, and this loop is to be used when you know in advance how many times you go through the loop. So it means how many times you will execute the code through the loop. So let's do a very simple example. For I equal 1, 5. So all this will do, yes, and finishes with an end statement like that. So what this does is that it declares a variable I, and basically it will go through the loop starting at a value of 1, and each time it goes through the loop it will add 1 to I. So it will go first time I equal 1, a second time I will have the value of 2, and it will increment to I until I is equal to 5. And the best way to actually show you is by doing this. Print I, so it will print the value of I. Let's do this. And also, yes, you can actually use some variables to define the beginning and the end point of a loop. So let's use test. As you can see, it says 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I was the loop was repeated 5 times basically. The other loop I'm going to show you, and that's actually the last thing I'm going to show in this tutorial, it's the while loop. So this is basically a loop you use when you do not know when the code will end. So I'm going to show you actually one little application, which is with passwords, for example. So for the whole password thing, what I usually do is I declare first variable, so local pass, which will contain the password. So let's just be very original and type pass, and then what? Yes. Then you want to declare another variable, local, and and this variable will be for the input, so usually I use inpt for input, but I think you can type input. I don't know if input is a protected word in Lua, because some words are protected in Lua, so you cannot use them as variable names, so I prefer using some abbreviations, because like that I'm sure that I will not have any trouble. So what will happen then, I declare a while loop, and in the while loop I use a condition, just like the if loop, and it will be while the input is different, dang it, I don't want to type it. Is different, yes, there we go, to the password. There we go. Do, and let's just finish with an and. I prefer closing structures when I do them, because otherwise I forget to close them after and it gets really confusing and all. So yes. So what we will do is, how about term.clear the stream, just to make things fancy, and term.set cursor pause to 1, actually 1, 1, because you set the cursor position to the top left of the screen. There you go. And then it will, how about write a message, write password, and then you just have to type the password. So what you do is input takes the value of what you type, so input equal read, and then what you can do is add an if condition inside it. An if condition, and if the input, why do I put parentheses? That's actually from C language. I do lots of that right now. So yeah, if npt is equal to pass, then it will print, might as well, correct. Whereas if the password is incorrect, it will print incorrect. It's all very logic. And end. So what I'm gonna do next, yes, and one last tip, just for the password thing, is if you want, if you don't want people to actually terminate the program while it's running, you can do something, well, this here, which is os dot no, it's pull event, like that, takes value of os dot pull, dang it, event raw. So what that means is that the pull event raw will override os.pull event. So that means that basically the control T event will not take place. It won't work, basically. So that's probably my explanation. I don't know if it's strictly correct, but never mind. So mustn't forget to save. And there we go. So let's try and see if it actually works. Yes, password. And as you can see, I'm actually trying to do Control T. You can't see me do that, but it doesn't work. And I think what the password was. It was pass, I think. It just says correct. So let's try this again. And if I type a bad password, like ga, nope. Type anything, it will go on until I actually get the correct password, which is pass. So this is actually I just wanted to check something, because you cannot use Control T, but can you use Control S, which shuts the computer down? Yes, it does work. Okay, good to know, maybe. So I think that's probably all I have to tell you for today. Next time I'll probably be covering functions and stuff like that. Hope you enjoyed. If you did, please take the time to like, comment, subscribe, and if you have any suggestions, let me know in the comment section, because I would like to know your opinion, and believe it or not, I would like to actually make this channel, orient this channel towards your maybe not your needs, but what you want. So that's the command of the day, and yes, since this is the end, I'll be saying goodbye and see you next time.